First of all, can I congratulate Vaughan Gething on his election as First Minister for Wales? Vaughan has made history as the first black leader of any European country. That's something I'm sure the whole House can be proud of. We certainly are. Following from my question last week, it's good to see the tobacco and vapes bill has now been timetabled, although it looks like they will be relying on our votes to pass their flagship bill. I also welcome the football regulation bill finally being published, but when will we get its second reading? Mr Speaker, this could have been our last business questions before a general election in May, but the Prime Minister bottled it. He may hope going later increases his chances, but he's quickly found out he's made things worse. He's being buffeted by events not in control of them, more division, more chatter, authority ebbing away day after day, the many resets not working. The public is just sick to death of Tory chaos. No wonder we are rising early for Easter. Mr Speaker, the House of Commons Guide to Procedure states that the Government should reply to the recommendations in a Select Committee report within 2 months. So where is her response to the Procedure Committee's report on accountability of Lord Secretaries of State? It was published over 2 months ago, and she has repeatedly told us she would follow it. When will she bring forward the motion? Just this week, the Foreign Office had to be dragged to Parliament again on the horrific situation in Gaza and in Rafah. It is not on. She said she wanted the views of the Lords Procedure Committee first. However, I understand she's still not contacted them. Has she? So, Mr Speaker, let's address the elephant in the room. There's an unusual level of interest in today's business questions following the swirling rumours and speculation. Thousands of column inches written about the unfolding drama. Will she, won't she? When will it come to a head? Yet she's remained tight-lipped, ducking the questions. But now we have the answer. The Rwanda ping-pong won't be until after Easter. So why, if it's such an emergency, has she yet again delayed programming this legislation? She delayed committee stage over Christmas because of disquiet on their side. Now she's pushed back further Lords' amendments until after Easter. I know she will want to blame the Lords, but it's her timetable and it keeps getting stretched. Is it because the costs just keep going up and the scheme is unworkable? On top of the £500 million price tag for the 300 people the Home Office intends to send to Rwanda, the National Audit Office's damning report yesterday adds to their woes. Not only is the Home Office spending £8 million a day on hotels, they've wasted tens of millions of pounds on new sites to house asylum seekers, which will never be used. The truth is, if they were ready to implement this scheme, we would see the bill back here next week. This is their timetable, it's their delay, no one else's. I know the leader will be quick to herald this week's inflation figures as some kind of proof their plan is working. I knew that would get a cheer. But she might be less keen to highlight the ever-rising housing costs not included in those figures. Rents up 9% in the last year and mortgage rates still crippling homeowners. That's why living standards have actually fallen this Parliament for the first time on record. The Health Minister claimed this morning that the cost of living crisis is over. They are so out of touch, it is embarrassing. So can I ask about their plans for the economy? They say they want to scrap national insurance altogether. And the Chancellor floated another 2-point cut yesterday. But who's going to pay for this £46 billion unfunded promise? Is it pensioners or the health service? People deserve to know. The last time they embarked on such a huge unfunded tax cut, they crashed the economy and had to get rid of their Prime Minister. I know many on their side are now actively discussing wielding the sword or a coronation, both things she's very accustomed to. But I've heard her before in these sessions, giving a rather fulsome, sometimes slightly over-the-top, personal tribute to the Prime Minister. Given that so many are losing faith, I thought she might want to take this opportunity today to give us another gushing homage. Yes. Anything less might be misinterpreted. Last time, she described him as a signpost. But deep down, she knows that the only direction he's pointing towards is a crushing defeat.
Leader of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have briefly emerged from under the hairdryer, put down my Take a Break magazine, managed not only to find my way to the chamber this morning, but also remember on which side of it I am supposed to be sitting. To be present and correct for business questions, quite a feat if media reports are to be believed. And I have been buoyed up by what the Honourable Lady has said. After all, this week we have seen inflation fall to 3.4%. Real wages are rising. We have positive growth. Household energy bills will fall by £250 a year in a couple of weeks' time. Average disposable income is growing, and we have signed the accession treaty for CPTPP, which will create a huge number of high-wage jobs. And it is confirmation that the plan is working when on Thursdays the opposition focuses not on these facts in the real world, but on the Westminster rumour vortex. So let me address the Honourable Lady's points in turn. First of all, I will join with her in sending my congratulations to Vaughan Gethin and wish him well in his new post. I am glad that the opposition welcome the tobacco and vaping bills and also the football governance bill, and look forward to the opposition supporting and getting involved in those bills. And with regard to the Select Committee report with regard to the Foreign Secretary's accountability of this House, I am still in time to respond, and it will be their lordships that will be deliberating on that. But the Honourable Lady brings up Rwanda, and I do wish to clarify that I have no wish to blame their lordships for the delay in this bill. Let me be very clear, I wish to blame Labour lords for this delay. For all Labour's talk on being tough on borders, they have voted against our plans to do that 111 times. And they have voted 98 times against our measures to stop the boats. Despite their being talking tough on crime, they have voted against our plans for tougher sentences and new police powers. And this week, we learned that despite all the armed forces frottage that has been coming from the opposition front bench, they are planning an EU defence pact, right at the time when all efforts should be with NATO. NATO has standards, clear and agreed sets of principles about what it will do and under what circumstances, and it has been busy. Ukraine, Kosovo, Iraq, support for the African Union, Baltic air policing, Aegean maritime security, Sea Guardian, a standing naval force, and, of course, disaster relief. In contrast, since its creation in 2007, the EU battle group, which has no such agreed threshold for deployment, has never actually got out the door. There could be no greater metaphor, Mr. Speaker, to illustrate the different approach between our two parties. Labour are all talk, including 126 minutes on ferrets this week, I understand, versus practical action on our side. It's virtue signalling over there versus results over here, unfunded policies over there, costed proposals here. It's no plan versus a plan that is working. And to borrow from the opposition's newfound heroine, Margaret Thatcher, if you want something saying, wait long enough and Labour will. If you want something doing, vote Conservative.